Hi, I'm Nicholeen Peck, and today we're going to talk about how to encourage children to want to help out. All over the world, I teach about parenting, self-government, good communication, and in this video, let's get right down to how to get those children to lift a finger. In this video, we're going to go into some great nuts and bolts for what you can do when the children do not want to help out. And I've got to just tell you, some of the things that I'm going to be sharing might surprise you. One of the biggest complaints that I get from parents as I go around and speak at conferences and meet with groups of people and do trainings is, my child will not do anything. They will not lift a finger. They will not help out. I try to get them to, but it's just a constant fight, so I've given up, you know? They won't help out. So if that's where you're at, or if you're afraid that it's going to get to that level, you are in the right place. Let's talk about what children need to understand in order to want to help out at home. One of the key things that they need to understand, which might surprise you, is actually where you're going as a family group. Do you know that most children are just selfish by nature? It doesn't mean that they're bad and that they can't learn to be kind and giving. They can, but they process the world from a, how does that feel? What do I get out of that? What happened to me? Type of perspective. It's a very immature perspective. They grow past this as they mature and as we teach them and train them to notice what other people are experiencing that are around them too. But for the most part, they just think about themselves. And because they think about themselves, they don't really care that much about the things that you're bringing to their attention, right? So they see, oh, okay, well, that has to be done, mom says, but why should I care about that? Because there's something else I would rather do. So we have to set up an environment where they learn why they should care about what mom needs to have happen or dad needs to have happen. So one of the things that I have done for my family and that I've taught people to do now for many years is to create what I call a family vision. This family vision is a picture that you create of your family 20 years in the future. A good family vision gets input from everyone. So mom and dad start to put together the vision, and then they share this picture of an experience maybe 10 or 20 years in the future, and they say, okay, let's picture ourselves at this Christmas Eve party or this 4th of July barbecue that we're going to have 20 years in the future, and we're going to practice every year up until then. And what is it going to feel like? What type of a family are we going to be when you're all adults? What type of relationship do you want to have? So you get that emotional investment and everybody talks about it. Create some details for that picture as you're discussing together that family relationship. Then what happens is they have a reason why they should care about the family. It's not just about them anymore. Now it's about the entire group. Your family has to be about the group and not about the individual. So many people make the mistake of making the rearing of the child just about that one child. They worry about making things fair. They worry about doing things that make the child happy. Not that we should discount fair, and not that we shouldn't care about making our child happy, but those are all things to just try to manipulate a certain reaction out of a child. The child needs to invest more than how they feel into the family. They need to see how the whole group is supposed to interact with each other, and they need to want it. So developing that family vision is the first surprising thing that you can do to help your child lift a finger. Now, I know we haven't conquered actually doing the dishes yet, but don't worry, we'll get there. Before we talk about doing the dishes and all of the other things that we want our children to do, click that subscribe button now. There are so many great videos on this channel that pertain to this very topic. You are not going to want to miss them, and more come out all the time, so don't forget to also click the notification bell. Now, here's another one that might surprise you. Don't do too much for your child. I know we love them so much. We want to dote on them and serve them, stuff like that. But if we do too much for our child, then our child starts just expecting it. And then we've created a beast. someone who thinks they're going to take advantage of us forever. There is a problem right now with young people having a failure to launch. They are not wanting to leave their parents' basement apartments. They're not wanting to cook their own food. They're not wanting to get jobs or even get driver's licenses. All of these things used to be rite of passages as they would mature and launch into adulthood. Why is it that people aren't wanting these things? Sure, there's the allure of the media, which sucks them in, and that's a big part of the problem. But also, the parents are doing too much for the children. They're not giving them enough responsibility. So don't make that same mistake at your house. Make sure that you're having your children work alongside you and by themselves, and that you make this a big part of your family culture. Work is the antidote for a sick character. It's also one of the #1 things that you can do to help a child build confidence. And here's another key for you on work. When a person does more and more work, some little task that you ask them to do actually is no big deal, because they've done so much work that it seems like, oh yeah, sure, that'll take me a couple of minutes. A person has increased anxiety about work and avoids work if they haven't done enough. They don't have enough experience to know how long it will take and if they'll be able to troubleshoot all the problems associated with that work assignment. So make sure that you are doing lots of work and giving them the opportunity to work alone and with you so that their confidence and their skill development goes up in work. I believe in teaching people skills. So another key thing that we can do to help our children learn to lift a finger around the house is teach them the skill for lifting a finger. There's a skill called following instructions that everyone must know. It's one of the 4 basic skills for success. These are 4 adult skills that we teach the children starting when they're very tiny. They practice them and work on them so that they can master themselves and learn self-government. The following instructions skill is the key skill for helping a child follow through with what it is that they are supposed to accomplish. In order to follow instructions, you look at the person, keep a calm face, voice, and body, say okay or ask to disagree appropriately. That disagree appropriately is a whole other skill. And then they do the task immediately, no matter what it is, and they check back so that the parent can praise them, teach them cause and effect, that they did the right thing. If your child can do all 5 of those steps to following instructions, and if they will do them, meaning that they choose their will to do them when you give instruction, then your child can successfully follow through on any task that you ask them to do. Now, keeping in mind, telling them to do a task is totally different than expecting them to see something that needs to be done and having them want to just fix it and be motivated. That's totally different. Those are 2 different levels of the same thing. So first, we teach them to follow our instructions. And after they get really good at that, and we correct things when they don't go right, then we teach them how to see something that needs to be done and follow through with doing it. Now, a little tip for you here, and that is if you work with your children a lot and you have a high standard for your own work, and you have a high bar there, your children will learn how to see what you see. That is something that you train them with. So if you have a messy house, do not be surprised if your child ends up with a messy bedroom or a messy house too, because they'll think that's normal. So if you want your child to help out, you need to be constantly working and doing too. Setting that example is important. But remember, setting an example is not the same as doing everything for them. They've got to be involved. Super important, or they're not going to cross over this bad habit of taking the easy way out. There is so much more that I could talk to you about on this one topic. And so I am going to give you a free class. This is a full-length class that I've put here on this channel. It's called The Not So Known Secret for Parenting Success. It goes into a lot more details about skill development, such as the 4 basic skills and how to correct things when things don't go right. So be sure to click on the link to The Not So Known Secret for Parenting Success now, and I'll see you there.